These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Tuesday, November 29th. And it's been a minute. The last time we released an episode was 10 days ago. Holiday season kind of kicked our butts a little bit, at least for me. I got busy. Family stuff. I actually went to a high school reunion, which was weird. 5-year reunion, which is kind of odd. I was going to go to the Celtics. The Celtics played the Mavs that day. So I was going to go to the game. But my buddies convinced me, hey, come to this. Well, I will say it was less for the
That is the quickest tell them to screw that I would have ever had in my life.
If it was just for the reunion, I probably would have said no. But like some of these guys, like that I'm still like good friends with, I hadn't seen in a while. So I wanted to, see my friends and we hang out, which was nice. It was nice to see my friends that I hadn't talked to in a couple months. So it's fine. I got to rewatch the game when I got home the next day. So I wasn't
for those wondering, we were supposed to record that day too. So Jack blew me off.
Yeah. That's my fault. Hands up.
School reunion.
And I will say though, it was weird. I walk in. It was at a brewery, right? So most of the people were drunk. One kid comes up to me, shout out Ozzy, who, for what it's worth, I don't think I said a single word to Ozzy in high school. Like we just weren't in the same friends group. Like he's a nice guy. Like I have no problem with it. The first thing he comes up and he goes, "Yo, I love your podcast, man." And so Ozzy, fan of the show, I suppose. If you're listening to this, I appreciate it. I thought that was it was funny.
Well, if he's not, then he lied to you.
That.
Yeah,
and if he doesn't, then he will never hear this anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
if he doesn't hear this, he should be dead to you because he lied to you straight to your face.
Well, like I said, it was weird because I was just the Celtics guy there, right? Like, and for those listening, I've definitely told Sam this before. I wasn't like a sports guy in high school, right? Like, obviously, I like sports. I've always liked the Celtics and stuff, but I did music. Like, I was 4'10" as a freshman in high school, so my hoop dreams were never even dreams. we didn't have a chance. We were dead in the water. So, I wasn't like friends with the whole like, going back to high school, like the sports people, there's stuff like that. So it was weird to like talk to people that I had never talked to before because they'd come up and like I had a conversation with shout out Brandon if you're listening about Grant Williams' contract extension. Sam, you'll love this too. He was pissed that they didn't extend him, so I was very happy he stood on that side of things.
He's educated then.
Exactly.
Jack's high school gives a good education. Speaking of high school, I got to tell you, I have been on this guilty pleasure kick of like high school type TV shows.
Like what?
Well, this obviously is not a high school show, but it's on HBO. The Sex Lives of College Girls is fantastic.
I've seen ads for it, and seems like the type of show that I probably was like, I feel like that's really cringe, but I kind of want to watch it.
No, it's like actually good. Like me
I've
and a
seen
couple
ads.
of my friends from the news station last year when it was the first season stumbled upon it. We were all hanging out, and one of the guys in his apartment building had this theater room, and we're all like looking for something to watch, and they had like HBO logged in, but it was only the free trial, so that was one of the things we all watched.
Fire.
And let me tell you, I am very upset that only half the season is out right now. They're doing this thing where they release every week, which is cool because you have something to look forward to. But I did not know.
You can't binge.
No, I watched the first 4 of this season, and I was ready. I was like, all right, like we're gonna keep going. And then, much to my dismay, there was no more episodes. I have to wait.
Very tough. I've been watching The Rookie lately, cop show. Nathan Fillion, good show on Hulu.
Isn't that on ABC?
I think so, but it's on Hulu. Like they have the first 5 seasons on Hulu.
It's so funny. I don't know who's watching network TV anymore, but there are good shows. People say that Abbott Elementary is really good.
I've seen that too. That's another one. Yeah, a lot of shows to watch, but above all, we have been watching the Celtics. Sam, just because we haven't recorded doesn't mean we haven't been paying attention. Other stuff gets in the way, but we're gonna get back to normality, I think, here. As the Thanksgiving season winds down. How was your Thanksgiving, by the way, Sam? I didn't ask.
It was great. I went nowhere. I stayed home.
What's the best?
Everything you could want.
Best Thanksgiving food. Like what do you look forward to most?
See, I don't really care for Thanksgiving food that much. I really don't. I'll tell you what. This year, my mom made broccoli and cauliflower, and she watched YouTube or something and figured out how to make it. and it was really, really good. So this year, that was the winner
Like
for
with
me.
what on it? You're not like
It was like
obviously not just boiled broccoli, right?
no,
Like,
no, it was in the air fryer, and she put like
okay.
spices on it or something. I don't know.
The
I
way you
wasn't
said
there when
that
she
was like,
made it.
yeah, my mom had a YouTube how to boil and steam.
No,
Broccoli.
no,
I was
no,
like,
no,
wait a
no.
second.
Because
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
But I did a Friendsgiving, which I thought would be a
Mm,
disaster
not
because it's
bad
me
though.
and a bunch of other dummies, and like they're all like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make a ham. I'm gonna make a turkey," and I'm like, "Why?" I'm not sure why this has to be this specific food. Like, I'm
Yeah,
like, why don't we just bring something? But it ended up being
good.
spectacular. Everybody did a
There you
good
go.
job with what they made, much to my surprise. There was egg on my face because I was
Yeah,
wrong. I was happy to be wrong, though. I'll tell you, the ham was good. Everybody did a
there you
good
go.
job. The desserts, the one kid made peanut butter balls with like Rice Krispies in
Fire.
them, so it was like a crunchy Reese's.
Yep,
And Reese's is probably my favorite candy. So that is, to answer your
that's
question,
dope.
that is the best thing I've had for Thanksgiving this year because I kind of had 2 Thanksgivings. The peanut butter ball
Yeah,
was the best.
yeah.
My family doesn't usually do mac and cheese on Thanksgiving, but if they did, that would be my answer because it's always
Mac and
been a
cheese is
thing.
good. Yeah,
You?
that's a good one. I went to my dad's girlfriend's parents, right? And I mean, this isn't like just they've been dating obviously for years, so it's basically my stepmom at this point. So we went over there. It was just like traditional Thanksgiving, but I'm a sucker for stuffing. Stuffing's very good, big fan. But like, if I can pour gravy on the turkey and the potatoes, like gravy is fire. Like I'm a big gravy
See,
guy.
gravy's one of
I
those
enjoyed
things
it.
I don't put in my
Really,
body. Nope.
I will
Won't
say
do
though,
it.
I love gravy. When I came home, my mom and her boyfriend, who again been dating for years, so it's effectively my stepdad at this point, had their own Thanksgiving, so they had leftovers. I came home way later, right? Because we had Thanksgiving quote unquote dinner at like 2, whatever, because I don't know. Come home at like 7 or 8 or something. I'm hungry again. And so I take a bunch of their leftovers, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes. They had turnips or something, which I surprisingly don't mind. Gravy, I put it between 2 pieces of bread and I stuck it in the air fryer. That was fire. Very good. Recommend. Air fryer Thanksgiving sandwich with some gravy in there as well. That was probably the best thing I had. The combination of it all. That was very good. I enjoyed that. But all right.
I think yeah, that's fine. Let's finish. Let's be done with that.
before we get sucked into more Thanksgiving talk, you guys had 7 minutes of our own crap, but we can get back into Celtics for you.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you
there
enjoyed
you
it.
We can
I
talk.
try and go as long as I can about the non-Celtic stuff. Let me tell you, I'm trying to
enjoy
improve on that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's easy, but Celtics talk is just as easy because obviously the Celtics are the best team in basketball, and it's not particularly close, I would argue, right? The Celtics offense, I was just going over it with Sam before the show. Celtics offense, their offensive rating is 5 points better than the team in second place, which is the Phoenix Suns. The difference between the top offense, which is Boston, and the second place offense is the same difference of the second place offense and the 19th place offense. So the Celtics are not just a good offensive team. They're not just the best offensive team. They're far and away the best offense in the NBA, and it's not even close. And we've seen that so far this season, and it's been kind of a treat. I mean, yesterday, as we're recording this 2 days ago, as you guys are listening to it, they took down the Hornets and they had 121 points by the fourth quarter. Heading into the fourth quarter, I was there watching the game, and it was just like in the first quarter, I was just like laughing, right? Like, because like the offense is just funny. Marcus Smart had 8 assists in the first quarter, finished with the career high 15. We'll talk about him after, but the Celtics offense as a whole is just like comically good. That's like the best word I have.
No, it actually was funny because like they were just making everything
right.
They just weren't missing. I mean, I think at halftime they were shooting like 70%. I'm not even trying to exaggerate. I think it was 70.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And on the broadcast, because you didn't really hear the broadcast because you were there, Scout was like, Charlotte's really not playing a bad game. They're just outmatched. Like, this is unheard of. 140 points. By the way, the Celtics were not the highest scoring team yesterday. Washington they scored more points. More than that. Because I was watching the game with my dad, and he was like, Washington's like already got like 140 something. I was like, what?
I need to look at that now. Washington, they played the Timber. Yeah, they had 142 against the T-Wolves. Wow.
My dad, let me tell you, he's coming up with some fire. I don't know if we haven't done a pod since then, but on the pregame, he made a very good point. He says it's to the point where if they lose, you're kind of like, why are they losing? Like you're at the point where like they shouldn't be losing to anybody. They are better than every team. I'm excited to see them play Milwaukee on Christmas because we're going to really see. But I turned and said to him yesterday, I was like, yeah, now it's at the point, like if they lose a quarter, you're like, oh, what the hell? Like, why are you getting outscored over 12 minutes?
Yeah, the offense is ridiculous, and the defense struggled a little. Like the Hornets were getting a lot of easy looks in the paint in the first quarter. Celtics turned things up a little bit. They still got some things to work out. We talked about how the defense is improving, but it doesn't matter. When the Celtics put up 45 points, excuse me, in the first quarter alone, it was like 45-19 at the end of the first. They're just not missing at first stretches. Like Malcolm Brogdon is up shooting ridiculous percentage from three. Marcus Smart is shooting 50% from three over his last 3 games. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are obviously Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They're going to be great. But so you got Sam Hauser, you got Al Horford who's shooting really well from three. They just don't miss. And I was talking to somebody at the game last night. Apologies for forgetting your name. I'm gonna actually look now because I remember you just followed
Not
me
only
on
is
Twitter.
Jack now too big for the pregame show, but he is too big for the people he is meeting at the media row.
Come on. No, shoot.
He's gonna edit this out.
No, I'm not gonna edit it out. I'm gonna leave it in. Gethin.
Who is it?
I knew Gethin. His name is Gethin. Gethin. I remember it was a very
Jack.
No, I remember it was a very it was a unique name, so I had to get it. But he works for iHeartMedia. I was sitting near him. He turns to me and he goes, "This may not be the most talented team the Celtics have ever had, like that we've seen, right? Like ever. We're talking about but it's the most connected." Right, like they can miss a piece, like they can miss Jaylen Brown, they can be down Jason Tatum, they can be down Marcus Smart, and you don't really tell the difference for the most part. I'm not saying that they don't need those players because obviously they become even better, but like the connectivity of this offense, just the way they pass the ball, the way they move the ball, the way they make shots, the way they generate open shots is absurd. Like it sounds like we're just kind of beating a dead horse when we talk about how good the offense is, but
I mean, there's nothing else to talk about. It's nasty. They're nasty. The team is nasty. They don't have any business losing to anybody. They are the best team in the league right now. 17-4. They have the best offense by far. The defense is climbing up. I'm sure we'll get into that. To go along with what you said, the plug and play ability with this team is insane because you have so many guys that are just being role players, but realistically could be a scoring option on a team. Derek White could be a second, third option in a playoff team. Probably. He's been so good. He's been so really reliable from three. He's in the top 15 along with 4 other guys in 3-point percentage that play for the Celtics. They have 5 of the top 15 3-point shooters in the NBA. Yeah. That is including like the restriction of like, you must have shot this many threes. Like they are making threes at a high volume at a high percentage. It's no joke.
Craziest thing about that is the stat that I saw go along with the stat that you just read. Celtics have 5 3-point shooters in the top 15. It is Al Horford, Derek White.
What I just said.
I know. No, I'm going to continue. I'm just saying who they are first. Derek White, Sam Hauser. This is not in the right order. Derek White, Sam Hauser, Al Horford, Grant Williams, Malcolm Brogdon.
I'll do the right order. You ready? It's Hauser, Horford, Brogdon. Yep. Oh boy. I think White Williams.
Yeah, White Williams. But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are not in the top 100 3-point shooters. That like, and that's not a knock on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum because they're still shooting fairly well. Like I think they're both around like 35, 36, 37%. But that's just a testament to how elite the role players around them are at shooting the ball. And this is something the Celtics had been searching for so long. Like you talk Shemi Ojeleye, Aaron Nesmith, right? They like Brad Wanamaker, even all their all-star point guards that they brought in. What do you say?
Carson Edwards. He was supposed to be the
Edwards. Guy. Exactly. Tremont Waters they brought in. Like the amount of Romeo Langford, the amount of players they brought in an attempt to develop them into rotational pieces around the Jays. Like they've hit on a couple now, and you're starting to reap the rewards. And we didn't even mention Peyton Pritchard, who's been solid for the Celtics too. But they hit on Sam Hauser. They picked him up undrafted. They hit on Grant Williams. They drafted him late in the first round, right? They brought back Al Horford. They traded for Brogdon and Derek White. They figured it out. And now the offense is looking as good as it is because of the way they figured it out. And it's great.
Not to mention Brogdon was free. Like they gave up nothing for Brogdon.
Yes.
The White trade at the time was tough. I mean, I was like not thrilled because I was a big fan of Richardson, and I still think he was good. I don't think he's better than White now. White has become an amazing fit on this team. He's been extremely reliable with the catch and shoot this year. His jump shot is reworked. It looks better. It looks smoother. He's super confident. He's just pulling. He's not worried about if there's a defender there. He is just such a smooth release, and he's not even hitting the rim right now. It's just going straight through, swish. It feels like every time. He is at the elite level where he shoots it. I think it's going in.
I asked you a couple weeks ago, and you said he wasn't there yet. He's there now?
He has arrived. He's made the
– There you go.
The current standing is I still have Hauser there. Horford right now is there because he's just been crazy good. Like he started the season not so great shooting threes, now he's in the top 50 in the league, the second best on the team. So he's just been on an absolute tear. There is no mistake with Al Horford.
Yeah, so give me your Celtics 3-point rankings in your
power
eyes,
rankings.
Your Celtics 3-point shooters power rankings.
Number 1 is Hauser, then Horford, then White.
Okay. Wait, Horford's number 1, you said, or Hauser's
He's
number
second.
1?
He's after
Okay,
Hauser.
so Sam Hauser, Al Horford, Derek White, and then you probably got to decide between Brogdon and
I think it's Grant.
Okay.
Even though Brogdon's been on fire lately, he's been like a quiet, high percentage shooter.
Yes,
I feel like he's had a lot of times where I've been like, wow, like can't believe that one didn't go in. Like he was open and he still missed. Like it wasn't the kind of thing where.
So, yeah.
I guess he's number 5, but I would still put Tatum ahead of him, which is a lot because I really don't like when Tatum shoots threes a lot of the time because it's like, he's really not doing everything he can here. He's kind of settling, but last night he came out and made his first 3.
He did
3 in a row, not just his first 3-point attempt, 3 threes. He made all 3 of them.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. I respect those rankings.
And then after that, it's all a blur. I mean,
all the same thing effectively. Okay. I got you there. We kind of talked about the bench a little bit. We had that on our list, but that's effectively what the 3-point shooting thing is. We can talk about Marcus Smart.
Let's stop on the bench for a minute because I wrote about it today.
Okay.
So I have some stats
let's talk
for
Celtics.
you. How about that?
Hit me with the stats
Jack today, and I said,
bench.
Jack, how do I look to see who the top bench scoring teams in the league are? And I finally figured it out. There's a thing you can toggle that just says just bench.
Yeah.
So
bench
I found it. Believe it or not, the Celtics 13th or something like that in bench score.
Really?
They have 33 a game. However, the thing that is going to be okay, yeah, I was right about this, is they are the second most efficient bench.
Yeah.
Behind only Portland. And from 3, they are the most efficient bench at 44%. And that's by 6 points over number 2, which is
As
Chicago.
in 44 versus 38%?
Yes.
Is the difference?
They are 6% better than the next best team.
Wow.
So that reliability from the bench scorers makes it so much easier on Joe Mazzulla if he has to rest somebody. If somebody is injured, they don't feel as pressured. It adds into the next guy up mentality on the team that we talked about earlier to where you can plug and play guys and it doesn't matter because they're all so efficient. You can trust those guys and they all trust each other, which goes into the ball movement. And it makes it easier on the stars because when they're in there, everybody around them can shoot, and they're not going to be able to. They're not going to have to face as much help defense because the defense can't leave these guys. Everybody's benefiting from it in all kinds of different ways, multiple ways for some guys.
Yeah, no, I mean 100%. I have no counter argument because there really isn't a counter argument to what you're saying. This all expensive,
destroyed,
absolutely
nothing,
phenomenal.
No devil's advocate from Jack, which he loves. He loves the devil's advocate.
I do. I'm a big devil's advocate, but
well, the thing is, I'm usually the anti 3-point guy, so he's really got nothing.
No, but what is the devil's advocate for that, right? You're just correct.
No, it's just facts. It's literally. I'm telling you statistics.
Exactly. And the biggest thing for me is I want to point to this. The first year Jason Tatum made the All-Star team, which you can sort of count as the first year of him sort of starting to take over as that number 1 option for the Celtics, was 2019-2020, which obviously got cut out by the bubble. Pre-COVID and some during COVID play. But I want to read you who their top bench guys were that season. Excuse me.
I want to
Obviously,
do it.
you want to guess?
Brad Wanamaker, Ojale was there.
Yep.
Tice was off the bench that year.
Yes, he
Baines
was.
wasn't around
No,
anymore.
Daniel Tice was the full-time starter that
Oh,
year.
he was a starter. That's right, because Horford
Yep.
left. You're absolutely right. Oof.
Yep.
Who was the backup big?
So
Grant
I'll
was
tell you the
playing backup
starters.
big.
He was. I'll tell you the starters at least. Tice, Kemba, Tatum, Brown, and then Hayward and Smart kind of split it. Like Smart played 40 of his 60 games in the starting lineup. So I'm going to count him as like a starter effectively. So those are the 6 quote unquote starters. Past that, you got Brad Wanamaker, you got Shemi, you got Grant Williams. There is another one.
I mean, Langford was on that team, but he wasn't playing.
Nope, he didn't play. He only appeared in 32 games.
Tremont Waters was on that team.
Tremont Waters only played in 11 games.
There was talk of like, oh, they want him, people wanted him to overtake Wanamaker as the next guy up. I mean, Carson Edwards was on that team, but he wasn't playing.
Mr. Ennis Freedom played 58 games.
Oh, I forgot he was on that team. That's who the backup was.
Yep. Rob played 29 games in limited minutes.
Rob was
Javonte Green got a couple stints here and there for the Celtics. But yeah, Shemi Ojale played 69 games for the Celtics that year, 15 minutes a night.
There was high hope for Ojale. He had potential.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He truly had potential.
His
role was something that he could be able to fit into. He just never did.
There was tweets, and I've seen people, say a lot. Shemi Ojale walked so Grant Williams could run, which is effectively.
It's true. He was Grant Williams is what they hoped Shemi could be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But Wanamaker was the 7th highest minutes getter he was the 7th man in the rotation that year. The 7th man in the rotation this year, what is it? He's Derek White,
Brogdon,
right? Let me double check. Let's compare it that way, I guess. And again, this is Tatum's first year as an all-star versus this year, where the Celtics, by the way, are 17-4, which is about as good as you could ask for, Sam. I know you can say they should have won all the games, and they should have won
all the games. They literally should have won all the games.
But we know that's not possible, and so there's not much more you could have asked for so far from the Celtics. They played very well. But comparisons. 1-2, 1-2, both Tatum, both Brown. Smart and Al Horford were both in the top 5 as well. Obviously, Hayward and Kemba are gone. We can say that they were effectively replaced by or Horford, I guess, here. But to put it in perspective, when you get down into the grid of it, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on that 2019-2020 Celtics team, Tice, Wanamaker, Freedom, Grant Williams, and Ojale. This year, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, Blake Griffin down there, and Grant Williams up to number 5, and Robert Williams hasn't played a single minute for the Celtics. Like, the difference is absolutely ridiculous, and you're seeing why the Celtics have the best, depth in the league. Is that too much to say? Do we think they have the best depth in the league? You think it's true?
Close.
Okay.
Who's close? Who's close?
Once they get healthy, I think the Clippers are close.
All right.
I think that is a team that could be close. I think I think the Bucks have some okay depth. I think there's a solid as well. You talk about Bobby Portis off the bench. Once they get healthy, Bobby Portis, Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton. I think they've got decent depth down there. Javon Carter's having a really good season. I'm not saying they're better than the Celtics. I'm just saying if we're looking at other teams around the league who could potentially stack up, the Pelicans have some decent depth. I agree that this is where the devil's advocate me is coming out. But the Celtics bench, my point is,
I asked for examples because I truly didn't know. I truly don't know. I don't think anybody's close, and I'm kind of right.
I think that the best options you got, or the best potential, teams to look at: Pelicans, Grizzlies, Clippers, Bucks. I think those are the only really ones you could look at and say, okay, maybe this team has better depth. But even then, it's kind of hard to surpass the Celtics on that list.
I mean, Brogdon and Derek White are better than anybody on those benches by far.
Yeah,
anybody.
Yeah,
they're better.
Yeah,
they're better.
You can make that argument.
Grant Williams might be better than them.
That's true. He's started now, though. He's not
a starter when Rob comes back.
Are you sure?
Yes, positive.
Okay. All right. I'm just asking.
They're gonna do double. Who's going to the bench if not Grant? Horford?
Rob for now. I think Rob to start at least.
Well, when Rob's like 100%, Grant.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I got you. That makes sense. All right. Do we want to talk about Marcus Smart first, or do we want to talk about the fun trade rumor that you brought up?
Do Marcus not Smart, rumor, because this is actually like substance that people.
Yes, of course. All right. I think one of our last, not shorts, but like the clip videos we do, which, shameless plug in the middle of the show. Go check out the How About Them Celtics YouTube channel. How About Them Celtics podcast on YouTube. Hit us up with a subscriber. We're almost at 150. We're climbing there. Road to 1,000, a long road, but eventually we'll get there. One of the last things we talked about was how great Marcus Smart has been, or had been the last time we recorded, and he is continuing to be amazing. He put up a career high 15 assists against the Hornets. Only played 3 quarters. He did not play a single minute in the fourth, so he had 15 assists through 3 quarters. I actually asked my first press conference questions as media the other day. Worked up the courage. I asked him, or asked Joe Mazzulla about it. I'm a shy guy.
It's a true thing. I don't blame you in the slightest. I wanted to observe. That is valid.
I wanted to observe the first few times, but I asked
very
Joe
respectable by you, by the way.
Exactly. Thank you.
Technically, you are entering a new workplace, and the proper way to enter a workplace is by not being heard.
Exactly.
People shouldn't know you unless they already know you. If you're coming in a workplace and everybody's like, dude, why won't this guy stop talking? That's a problem. Just in case you didn't know.
Exactly.
There are people that need to hear this. There are legitimately people that need to hear that.
Yeah, embarrassing moment. I wasn't gonna say this on here, but I don't think it matters that much. You walk in like hallways back to the press conference room in the back hallways, right?
Yeah.
And so people pass you. There's these really skinny hallways where you have to go back to get there. And I pass someone, right? Just says, "Hey, how you doing?" I say, "How you doing?" Be a nice guy. Takes me 3 seconds to realize that it was Brad Stevens. I was like, shoot, I should have said hello. Because like by the time I realized who it was,
but you said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Of course, he said hi. I said, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah, so that's normal. No, you handled it perfectly.
Okay.
Because he's probably like, "Wow, that guy is cool. He didn't even care that I was Brad Stevens." Like,
I know, but I've been trying.
If you realized it was Brad Stevens, you would have been nervous. You weren't nervous. That's the point. That's not good.
I was nervous when I realized who I said hi to afterwards.
Yeah, but you weren't nervous saying hi to him. If you realized that was Brad Stevens, it would have not went as well as it did. I'm telling you right now, it would not.
Again, it was a very brief hi, how are you doing? Pass in the hallway, which was normal. Next time though, I want to introduce myself.
Yeah, now he knows you're cool. He's like, this guy's not going to berate me. He's not going to attack me. He's not going to ask me a bunch of dumb questions about being a fan or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, he's cool. He's the hey, how you doing guy. He's not. But
I thought that was funny though because pass right by him. Anyways, point is, I asked Joe Mazzulla a question. I said, hey, Marcus Smart. Obviously, Joe, you've been with him for. Sorry, I have the hiccups again. Been with him over the years during your time in Boston. His role has changed a lot in the last couple of years. Full-time point guard last season. Now this year, he's kind of picking up the pace as a playmaker. And Joe basically said, I have full trust in him to run the offense. And the biggest thing is he's seeing the possession before it happens. And I think you see that a lot with Smart this year, obviously, at least as a passer, because he's been one of the best point guards in the league this year. Or at least lately,
fifth
right?
Assists. It's not a scary thing to say. It's true.
In the NBA?
In the NBA, yeah, he's fifth in assists in the league. No. Total assists, he's fifth.
Total this season. Like average or total?
Total. I saw it on Twitter today.
Really? I didn't know it was that great. Yeah, Marcus Smart is fifth in the league in assists. Wow.
Yeah, okay. He's really good.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, he is.
There's still people that like hate him. And like I still have a friend that will tell me he's not good. Ray that comes to basketball, he tells me he's not good. I sent him a message yesterday. He said I'll believe it if he does it against a real team. That's what he said to me.
He's done it against real teams this year.
I mean, in fairness, like it was Plumlee and the boys yesterday, but like,
well, of course, but 15 assists is also a ridiculous number of assists.
No, it is. You're right. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying it was Plumlee, Oubre, and then all the fellas off the street.
Plumlee and the fellas. No, but Marcus Smart's been one of the best passers in the league this year. He had 12 assists against Memphis. Did Ray forget about that? Memphis is a good team. I'm looking at others. I mean, He had 7 in the opener
I mean,
against
this is
Philly.
worst case scenario for him.
7
It's
against
okay.
True.
This is
He's not having a
he
good
went
time.
to sleep and had a nightmare.
No, yeah. Marcus Smart is 5th in assists, which is crazy. I didn't realize that. Thank you for enlightening me, Sam. But Marcus Smart has been amazing this year with the ball in his hands. Joe Mazzulla said he completely trusts him during the offense. Marcus Smart talked about it during his press conference. He says, Abby Chin asked, she goes, excuse me, how are you seeing the floor? And Smart, he goes, with x-ray vision, which is just like kind of true. Like the way he's passing, the way
Yeah, I
he's
saw that in your headline.
seeing
I thought that was
everything.
really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great quote. And there was a video on Twitter that came out of after the Luke Cornett alley-oop, which, by the way, fire, of him like doing the bird thing and Smart pointing towards the camera. Somebody on Twitter said it looks like they're in the backyards, kids playing superheroes, because they were like kind of pointing and like doing the bird thing, which is funny. I asked him about that, and he goes, he's effectively said it starts in the locker room. Like, we're just like there for each other, and we're just a close-knit group this year. Not that we didn't have that same, fondness of each other last year, but we've got more guys now, and it's just like they're having fun. And Marcus Smart is a big part of that. And I think the reason he's improved so much as a playmaker last year is, you have to remember, last year was the first time the Celtics ever trusted him to put the ball in his hands. And he averaged a career high in assists. He won Defensive Player of the Year, and that still wasn't good enough for people. And now this year, like you said, he's top 5 in total assists so far. He's averaging 7.5 on the season, which is by far a career high. I think almost like 1.6 higher than he's ever averaged before. And he's leading the best team in the league as their starting point guard. And when I say leading, I mean leading. Obviously, Tatum and Brown are going to get most of the credit because they're the best players. But Marcus Smart is absolutely leading this team. And it's like he's been so good.
It sucks because Bobby put out a list the other day of like all these players in the Eastern Conference, like that could be all-stars, and he put Smart at the bottom.
I saw this.
And like, it just sucks that there's so much talent at the guard position in the East, because it's really not realistic for him to get on. But this is the best he's ever played. And
by far,
we were raving last year about how much he'd improved as a playmaker and how much he's shaken the bad habits. This year, he's taken a mega jump. We talk about guys taking jumps all the time, especially like Jaylen Brown, who tends to come back every year better at something. This is unbelievable. Yeah, X-ray vision is absolutely right. He has crazy vision. He makes crazy passes. It's an insane thing to watch. And he's not even turning the ball over, really. Yeah, he's fantastic. And he trusts the guys around him like he should. I mean, they're all good at shooting threes, so why wouldn't you? He's making the extra pass now. The thing that people always said he didn't do, he's actually shooting pretty decent right now. I believe he's shooting a career high from the field at the very least at 44%. I don't know.
Yeah, career high, 44.1.
Career high. It's pretty close.
3-point percentages would be his second best ever, behind that 2018-19 season. He's shooting 35.1
don't forget,
this year.
If you want to like cherry pick stats too, cut out like the first like 4 games because he was really bad.
Yep.
He was really like not good to start this season. And now
he really struggled.
Filthy. He has figured it out. He's playing at the highest level he's ever played at. He's leading the team to the best record in the league as the starting point guard.
Still a top-notch defender.
Yeah, he's still defending.
Deep boy.
Does he make?
He's phenomenal.
Could he make it all NBA?
Do we want to talk about this? Do we want to talk about all-stars right now, quick? Since we
no, I don't want to, because then that goes into me not knowing stuff. But like, seriously. I wonder if this team like really pops off. He could make an all NBA team as like the third team.
I don't
as the
think
point
so.
Guard.
He's only averaging 11 points, and of course, I'm like,
that's true. The points is brutal. I saw somebody on Reddit today like post the stats between him and Drew Holiday, and like they were like, when you start dialogue, and like all the stats are the same, but Holiday averages like 6 more points.
Yeah, it's because
the defense might not be as good, and all the other things that we all rave about all the time, but I really don't know what the point of that post was. It was kind of bad. Like, I was like, what's going on here? However, the assists are crazy, and I think that 7.5 number is going to go up. I truly do. I think he's just been on a tear, and he's figured it out. Whatever he's doing is working. He's having a 15 assist night without Jaylen Brown playing.
Yeah, no, he's phenomenal. There's not really much else you can say about it other than he's been the third best player on this team. Would we put him third?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Third best player.
super controversial.
Well, there's
All
a lot of
three
good
the
players.
guards have been playing really well. White and Brogdon both have been averaging about the same numbers, about like 14 points, 4 assists, around that, both shooting really well.
Mhm.
But Marcus is the one doing the most of the distributing. He's really in charge of that.
Yeah, no, it's been great. But in terms of guards, like you said in the East, just we don't have to like full on talk about the All-Star conversation, but you can only have a max of 6 guards on a team.
Like you have Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie.
Mhm.
He's playing games, so he's probably going to get in because they all love him. Harden is in the East. I mean, I
have the
don't
list
know
here.
if he's going to get in because he's been kind of injured and in and out of the lineup.
Yeah, I have it here. Harden, Kyrie, like you said, if they play enough games.
Garland.
Trae Young, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte Murray's in the East now.
Mhm.
Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers are good, and he's been playing
Yeah,
great. He'll probably
Halliburton.
be an All-Star.
Halliburton might be the.
I agree. No, yes, he's up there. He's up there.
No, like I was gonna say, like the best point guard in the league.
He's you're not far off. Like he's definitely up there. But you'd probably take Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, but like Halliburton's knocking on the door of top 5. I'll put it that way. Jaylen Brown counted as a guard in years past. I know the Knicks aren't great, but Jalen Brunson's putting together a great season. He's got an argument. Like there's a lot of guys. Marcus Smart would have to fight through it. It would probably take it would probably take like Drew Holiday. We didn't even mention. The Bucks are really good. The Celtics would probably have to be like close to a 40-win team by the All-Star break, like right,
which
like
is possible.
40, so, I'm not saying it's
20
not,
games,
but
you've won 17, 21 games, you've won 17.
Very possible, but it's not. It's gonna be an uphill battle. I'll put it that way for Marcus Smart to get into the All-Star team. But anyways, we can move on. We can talk about, and I'm not going to take any slack for it either because you brought it up. I forget where it originated. Do you know where the Anthony Davis, Robert Williams thing originated, Sam?
I don't know what the source was. I saw it on NBA Central on Twitter, and I think they said an anonymous executive said, I don't remember which side he was advocating to do the deal. I think it was the Lakers.
Oh, it was Colin Cowherd. It was an analyst.
Oh, all right. Well, regardless.
It's
out
we can talk
there.
about it. He said, what did he say exactly? I want to find like the
He
quote.
said like the Lakers should sell high because how many more games is he gonna play? Like he's not gonna play in every game for the rest of the season. They should sell high on Anthony Davis.
He effectively argued his argument. Now that I'm looking at it, was so foolish too.
No, it's dumb. It is dumb.
He said they're going to have a Giannis issue, so they should trade for AD to guard him.
No, they're not. Well, they might, but everyone's gonna have a Giannis issue.
Yeah,
like that's not a unique thing to the Celtics.
I would argue
Anthony Davis isn't guarding Giannis. He doesn't want to play against the big boys. He doesn't want to play center. Not that Giannis is a center.
They probably have the second best matchup for Giannis in terms of like a straight one-on-one. Bam Adebayo, maybe. I think Miami. He could probably be up there. And you could potentially argue Ben Simmons, but he's been better. In terms of pure defender, I'm saying Ben Simmons you can't knock him as a defender. But I mean, Al Horford, Grant Williams, like they can handle him, and they did last year. And I guess PJ Tucker, but Jason Tatum there too. Like I think the Celtics are fine, but effectively, Colin Cowherd suggested the Celtics trade Robert Williams for Anthony Davis. Right. The Lakers get Rob, more financial freedom. The Celtics get Anthony Davis. Obviously, it wouldn't work for a one-for-one deal. Exactly. You'd have to throw something else in there. It's pretty foolish regardless. I don't think any Celtics fan would do it. I mean, well, if the money wasn't a thing, would you trade Rob straight up for Anthony Davis?
Probably not. Just because like one, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So meaning by that, one, the Celtics are nasty without either one of them. Two, they've proven to be good in the past with Rob Williams, and he has a defined role on the team. If you bring in Anthony Davis, he's probably going to want to do similar things to Horford. And whether he's as good, it's not looking like it, especially shooting threes. He's not as good at it. So what's the point of having him, in my opinion? And if he's going to be hurt, this is all without having to pay him. To me, which is the biggest issue. The whole great thing about Rob is he only makes like $12 million. So if he's injured, yeah, it sucks. Like, I'd love if Rob was playing right now and he's fully healthy, but you're not like eating up 30 million on that. You're eating up 12.
Yeah. No. I agree with you completely. And it's tough because I feel like this argument is similar to the would you trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant? In a sense,
It's true.
obviously, I think the gap between Jaylen and KD is smaller than the gap between Rob and AD. But at the same time, you haven't really seen the best of Rob, I don't think, at least. And
I
if you
agree with
have,
that.
like, if you have, you're still getting an all defensive second team center. You're still getting a defensive player of the year candidate. And who knows, if Rob played the full season, he might have won defensive player of the year. And that's not a knock on Marcus, just that they had 2 defensive player of the year caliber players on the team. That's how good Rob was. And that's how good Rob can
the only argument you can really make for Anthony Davis is, okay, and this doesn't make sense with trading Rob, but he could be like the Horford successor. That's the only thing, because we've talked about that a fair amount, and it's been on Twitter. Who's going to be the next guy? Who's going to be the next Horford? People want it to be Grant. Grant's not big enough. It's just clear he's not big enough. He's Grant. He's not Horford, and Grant is good, but he's not Horford. He's not the same player. Anthony Davis is one of those guys that could make sense in that role. He can kind of shoot. He can kind of defend. Like, he do
phenomenal
all those things,
defender,
and he's in his prime. Right, if
defender.
he decides to want to defend the big guys and is
playing
able to
really
stay
well
healthy,
this year, he's brought it around.
And good for him. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You don't need that. You don't need to throw another ego in the mix. You don't need to throw in the injury risk of someone that would be playing a big role for you. I mean, why?
And like you said, I mean, coming back to realism, coming out of our, if you could do it just with this without considering this, money. Right? Like that's the clear thing that's going to deter you from doing it. Not only from the perspective of having to pay Anthony Davis, because you're going to have to pay Anthony Davis continuously. You're going to have 3 max contract players on the roster. And no matter how good Rob gets, I don't think he's ever going to become a max player, which is benefits the Celtics. But also,
I don't know,
like we
Gobert's
said,
making max money.
Sure. Yeah, you're not wrong. We'll see, because Rob will probably get 25 a year down the line, which will not be max anymore, but it sounds like it. But the point is, like we said when we started the conversation, no matter what, you're going to have to, even if you want to do this trade, you'd have to give up something else. You'd have to give up Rob and Derek White, or Rob and Malcolm Brogdon, or Rob and Al Horford, or Rob and Marcus Smart, right? Like, it's not going to be a Rob for Anthony Davis trade. And obviously, we understand how foolish this entire conversation is, because it's never going to happen. And
well, also, the point of it was from the Lakers. I don't think he was saying the Celtics should do it.
Yes. And if you're the Lakers, I still think it's stupid. I still think it's terrible, because as much as we're arguing the Celtics shouldn't do it, Anthony Davis is still an all-star. He's still an all-NBA player. And obviously he's had his health issues, but over the past 10 days, he's averaging 30 and 12, right? Like, he's
also literally the only thing they have.
Sure. But they're also winning, right? And this isn't going to turn into good for the Lakers, but you can't turn to blind die when Anthony Davis is probably playing his best basketball since the bubble.
I mean, they lost
yesterday. Sure. But Anthony Davis is playing really well, and trading him for Robert Williams, and then especially to the point where you're going to say, okay, Rob, you're going to be our second leading scorer now. That's just not what Rob does. And eventually down the line for the Celtics, maybe he can get up there to 15 points a game, right? You throw him enough lobs, have him,
he's not creating.
Grant, and exactly. He's not creating for himself. And obviously having LeBron and Russell Westbrook on the team, you're going to have opportunities to catch lobs, but the whole conversation, I just think, is a bit stupid. And it's good to talk about for a podcast, which is why we're talking about it. But I don't think the Celtics should do it, nor do I think the Lakers would do it. I think it's a dead end trade. I mean, if you're the Lakers and you say, okay, if the Celtics say yes to giving us Rob, a pick, and Derek White, then maybe you talk, because that gives you some depth. It gives you some flexibility in tradable contracts. But you're giving up Anthony Davis, and he's been arguably your best player so far this year. So I don't know. It's just okay, Colin. Colin got us, and he gave us content too. Exactly. He's good at it. I think we can talk about Blake Griffin a little bit, if you want to talk about Blake Griffin, because he had a highlight.
He had a good game.
He did.
He had a solid game.
Basketball. He did. He had 9 points, 4 rebounds. Was that the final stat line for him?
It's kind of funny that he doesn't play regularly. I'm not saying he's real good or anything, but when he plays, he's serviceable and he plays hard.
He's not bad. He's not bad. He's solid on the glass. The one place he gets beat on defense way too easily, and I know the
Which is why he
Celtics as
doesn't
a
play.
team, exactly. Celtics as a team haven't been a great defensive team, this year. But him in particular, he gets beat like off the dribble and can't really guard the pick and roll too well. But yeah, in his start, played 21 minutes, just over, shot 4 or 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, made the Celtics' first bucket of the game and a 3-pointer. TD Garden went wild. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 of them offensive. Obviously had the highlight dunk where Derek White threw him a lob and he kind of turned back the clock. Had another good dunk that got called off because some illegal screen, something like
thought he
that.
had
But
2 dunks.
maybe he did. Maybe he had a third one that got called off. But Blake Griffin put together a good show. Exactly that. He put on a show. He entertained the Garden. Yeah, he played well. He looked good in his minutes. And after the game, when asked about it, Joe Mazzulla effectively said, like, he's just a good person, right? Like, he went on this thing. He's like, well, I mean, yeah. And then John Corrales called him out. He goes, is that what you look for? You look for their character? And, like, not in a jerk way, but he was, like, asking it. And Joe was like, I don't even mean to correlate those two. I just think we have a lot of good guys on the team. So I just talk about that. And he was talking about how Blake is, like, just a good locker room guy, and obviously he can still play a little bit. He's not going to get a ton of minutes, but he can get out there and he can start when he needs to. And I mean, Luke Cornett was awesome off the bench too. So yeah, I was happy with Blake's performance. I thought he played well.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, not much. I guess there's not much else to say about it, but I did want to. Before we wrap up, I do want to talk about a quote from Malcolm Brogdon because I think you'll appreciate it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw this. So after the game, somebody asked Brogdon about having perspective from the outside, and he talked about him and Blake, and he basically said just about appreciating where they are. Marcus, Jason, Jalen, and Grant, they haven't seen other teams. There's a lot of good here, and I remind the guys of that when time gets tough. When you're on one team with one organization for so long, there's always a wonder of what it's like somewhere else. So I try to get guys not to wonder because this is special. And that should tell you all you need to know. Like, Brogdon has played for the Pacers and the Bucks. Griffin has played for the Clippers, the Pistons, and the Nets. And for Brogdon to say, like, I try not to get guys to think about what other places are like and to let their minds wander and wonder what those things are like, because this is special. Like, to hear him talk about the Celtics organization like that and this Celtics team, like, that should tell you how much the Celtics and their players believe in this group. It was really good to hear.
Well, Anthony Davis's dad said they're mean.
Exactly.
Which is another reason why that trade that we talked about can't happen. Because his dad thinks they're mean.
True. Never happened. No, it was good to hear though. It was really good to hear. It was a good quote. At least it should tell you that the Celtics do things. Come on.
Here I am. He said something really good about the franchise and thoughtful. Flipping it. And I'm just making fun of Anthony Davis's dad. Well, he was a prick. He was a prick during that saga.
I remember.
Shut up. Shut up.
I do remember. But I think that's all we had. Is that what all we had to talk about today? Anything else you wanted to bring up? I mean, we haven't talked since the Bulls lost. I don't really know what else there's to say about it. They lost. They kind of just played poorly. Like, that's going to happen. It sucked, but they've bounced back since then with a 4-game win streak. So it's hard to stay mad at them too long, because so far when they've played poorly, they've answered it really well. I don't think they've lost 2 in a row yet. They definitely haven't. I don't think any of those losses to the Bulls or Cavs are in a row.
Nope, not 2 in a row.
But they've only lost 4 games, 2 in the Cavs to overtime, 2 against the Bulls in regulation. They just hate playing the Central Division, I guess. But they're playing real well. I will say though, Sam, this next stretch for the Celtics is going to be a really big test for them.
Yeah, I had this written down. I had the upcoming road trip written down. We can save this because we'll probably do one on the weekend or Friday night after the Heat game.
Yeah.
And then we'll really have some stuff to get into.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. We can talk about that, and we can talk about All-Stars Sue at some point, stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's good then. I think we can save the road trip talk and stuff. I will be at the Heat game Friday night though, so it would have to be, I wouldn't be home till late, but we could do Saturday afternoon or something like that. We can figure it out. But Anything else you want to bring up before we get out of here?
I'll save complaints, I guess. No, I'll talk about this because it was today.
All right, hit me.
The World Cup was today. I don't like that they have American people calling the games. I really don't.
Really?
I really hate watching soccer with guys that don't have English accents calling the games. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. They're better at it than we are.
I understand it.
It's their game.
Well, yeah, but it's the Americans playing, so they.
I don't care. I don't care.
I'm sure you could find it.
I will say the guy doing the game was not bad. At the end of the game, when it was like the 100th minute, because they wanted the 9 minutes extra time, then there was stoppages in extra time. He had me on the edge of my seat. I got to tell you, he did a good job.
It's a good game.
He was good.
It was a good game,
but it just doesn't sound right. I got to tell you, don't love it. Don't love hearing American guys call soccer, and they do.
Big win though.
Yeah, big win. Big win. They almost blew it.
I started watching at halftime, so I'm a fake fan.
It was good.
Did watch.
Good. They almost had two before the half, but the guy was offside. But I don't think he was really offside. I think they got it wrong.
I'll have to go watch. I didn't actually see that.
Don't watch.
All right, but also funny story for me. My mom was asking for Christmas ideas and stuff, and I don't even know what to say anymore. Like I don't know. So I'm a Brentford fan, even though I struggle to keep up because of other stuff. So I asked for a few jerseys. I'm like, oh, these are 3 players I like. I forget one. I know I asked for an Mbumo jersey who got compared to LeBron. If you've seen those memes, he was the guy on the.
Oh, he's the guy. Okay.
Yeah, I think he got compared to LeBron. And I also asked for an Ivan Toney jersey, who, if you've seen any recent news about Ivan Toney, I don't think I'll be enjoying that jersey very much anytime soon.
Right. Well, here we go. We're not gonna.
You don't know what happened with Ivan Toney?
I'm gonna go on Twitter.
All right. Let me know when you find out about Ivan Toney, because like I said, it is not looking like he's going to be a consistent face at their club.
Yeah, it looks like he's leaving.
He got busted.
Oh.
He bet on football 238 times. He got caught in 238 cases of gambling on football in the Prem or championship or whatever. So he is he officially leaving the club? Do you see that?
No, that must be old then.
Yeah, no, he got caught gambling. Look up like Ivan Toney betting or something. The other one was Rico Henry, by the way. He's a defender for Brentford that I like. I forgot, but yeah.
Tell you, I'm not big on Christmas. I don't care for Christmas.
I knew this. I don't get it. I've always been big on Christmas.
Don't care
That's just
for
how
it.
I was.
I truly don't care for it. Everybody likes it too much.
I love Christmas. Christmas is great. We got our Christmas tree. I love Christmas.
Big Celtics are on.
Anyways. All right. Anyways, yeah, we appreciate y'all for listening. Check us out on YouTube. Sam's going to plug it too, but I always plug the YouTube whenever I get the chance because it's growing well. How About Them Celtics podcast on YouTube? If you're watching on YouTube, which you should be, subscribe, and you can see at the bottom of our screen all of the other ads, which Sam will cover, but I'll let him do that.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, you're on YouTube, watching on, hopefully, How About Them Celtics pod instead of Guy Boston Sports, but we're on both. Make sure you subscribe to How About Them Celtics pod. Leave a like. Jack mentioned it earlier. We are climbing the ladder. We're trying to get up as high as we can with the subs, and we're making some progress. Who doesn't love that? If you're not watching, you're on some streaming service, which is absolutely fine. Make sure you follow us there. Leave a nice comment, 5 stars, whatever the hell they do there. I don't know. I don't leave reviews, but here
follow
I am.
On Spotify. Follow on Spotify and leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple. But there you go. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, there you go. Jack told you what to do. Also, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. How about them C's? You'll get the shorts there as well as on YouTube, and people like them. So definitely follow us. Good content there. Also follow Jack at JackSmutNBA. He's doing all kinds of writing and stuff and working hard, and you'll get all of it. You also have him spoiling the game for you. If you're like me yesterday, when you were at the game, spoiling it for me.
Man,
they had not even cut to the jump ball yet, and I knew Blake Griffin hit the opening 3.
Well, NBC's got to step up their broadcast. I'm not taking the blame for that.
It's the streaming. And then you can follow me to hear me complain or see the articles I write at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.